What's going on, guys? It's finally here. The day has come. After dozens and dozens of requests to make this video over the past year, I've finally gotten around to making it happen. So what we're going to do today is we are going to pair Wet Rag by Refrigeration Technologies against Hot Block by Solderweld and see how both products work and let you guys decide which one's better. On social media, there's so much information out there and so many people giving opinions on what's better, what's worse, buy this, not that it can get crazy. So in order to give you guys the best information I can, I purchased a tub of each, and we are basically going to look at the consistencies of them, look at how they apply, and most importantly, throw a torch on some copper pipe and see how they work and let you guys decide which is better. So that's what we're going to do today in this video. In front of you, you see a tub of Wet Rag to your left. That tub is a 12-ounce tub. The Hot Block that you see to your right is an 8-ounce tub. Hot Block does come in one larger size tub, I believe, but for the sake of this video, I wanted similar sized tubs. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to do for the test. I am using the Testo, if it'll focus, 115i temperature clamps, and I just have them hooked up to an old smartphone. I'm just letting them sort of acclimate, make sure there's no temperature discrepancy. If there is, I will show that before the video starts, but it looks like we're about 1.5 degrees different, so basically identical for this particular type of testing. And what I've decided to do for the test is, instead of testing each one individually, I'm going to do them both simultaneously. It'll make it more entertaining for the video, and there will be less variables from testing one to the other. So basically what I'm going to do is, I have this piece of 3/4 inch copper here. I am going to take some Hot Block and apply it to the pipe. I'm going to leave about a 2-inch gap. I'm going to take Wet Rag, apply it to the pipe, and I'm going to heat between the two, having one temperature clamp on this end, one temperature clamp on this end, and simultaneously seeing how they perform. Also, once I do that, once the pipe cools back down, I'll go ahead and remove the product, and we'll see how easily they remove, if there's a bunch of cleanup to each one and things like that. So hopefully I'll cover as many aspects as possible in this one test. Just sleeve this piece of copper with a piece of PVC, so the copper is not in contact with the vise, so the vise cannot act like a heat sink. Again, just trying to eliminate any variables and trying to make this as controlled as possible for this test. Okay guys, I moved everything around as far as the tripod just a little bit, moved the smartphone just so you could get hopefully a better view while I'm heating the piece of copper up so you can see the temperatures. As you can see, we have about a 2.3 degree discrepancy between one clamp and the other. That's been pretty much consistent throughout the video, so just keep that in mind. There's a roughly 2.5 degree difference. So I'm going to go ahead and use a number 15 rosebud. I'm going to heat the torch right in the center here. I'm going to try to keep it in the center. I might move it back and forth a little bit just to get some even heat, and just so I don't burn a hole in the pipe. And we'll keep an eye on those temperatures. Again, if it starts getting over 220-ish, 225, I'm going to go ahead and just remove the clamps just so I don't damage any tools in the process. But hopefully you'll be able to see this screen while I'm heating the copper pipe up, and we can see what each product does. Just keep taking the torch away just so I don't melt a hole in the pipe. And we're up over 200 on the wet rag side. So I'm probably going to end it there, but you can see the temperature difference. I'm actually not sure how high these clamps go up. We'll let it sit for a minute, just for the sake of testing. We're about a 50-degree difference. Almost exactly. So both products pretty impressive. You can see we're still gradually going up. Looks like we're starting to fall back down on the wet rag side now. And we're falling on the hot block side as well. So looks like we got somewhere around a 50-degree temperature difference. You can see now it's back down within 20. Kind of look at both products here. I'm going to leave everything running. I'm just going to take it off the tripod real quick. Hopefully you don't get too much shakes. And we'll just kind of look at the products themselves. Hopefully you can see. It's kind of difficult. It's not super great lighting in here, but you can see the wet rag has dried up around the end. You can kind of see a gap that is formed right there. And the hot block has also started to turn white around the end, but has maintained its shape on the pipe. You can see our temperatures now. Our wet rag has actually dropped below the hot block by about 5 degrees, but they're very, very similar as far as their temperatures go right now. It's pretty much steadied out. But now what I'm going to do, I wanted to heat up the copper a little bit more and kind of singe and char both products just to see how they perform. And I'm going to heat this torch back up, and I'm going to basically cook both of these products for a few seconds, and then we'll let them cool down and we'll see how they remove and clean up and all that good stuff. Sort of like a worst case scenario. All right, first we'll go with the wet rag. Again, I'm just gonna try to char up the end of it. Again, this is going to be a worst case scenario. Hopefully you've got your brace joint done by now. You can see the product glowing cherry red. And now we will do the hot block. Puts off one heck of a yellow flame on the hot block. Not sure how well it comes across in the camera, but it is lighting this room up. It actually took the oxygen away from the torch. All right, we'll call that good. I think I've scorched both of them pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and let these cool down for a minute. Obviously they're super hot right now. And then I'll turn the camera back on. We'll remove both products from the pipe and see how cleanup is. Both cooled down pretty good. I can touch the pipe, no problem. No problem. They're both well within probably under 120 degrees. Same here. It's just steaming. We're in the garage and it's about 45 to 50 degrees out here. So, but I'm going to go ahead and remove both products and we'll see how they come off the pipe. See if there's any cleanup to either one or anything like that. I will go ahead and remove the wet rag first. You can see the product there. It's definitely charred and crusty on the end, but the other side is still moist and pliable on that side. Just set that there. And you can see what we have left on the pipe. See if I can get that off, how easy it is to remove. You can see it's kind of like a dusty, powdery type consistency almost, or crumbly, I guess would be a better word for it. And that's pretty much off of the pipe. And you can see what we have right there. Now we'll go ahead and remove the hot block. Try to do it in the same fashion. And the hot block is much more firm than the wet rag was while removing it. You can see, looks like the hot block came off quite a bit cleaner. Not perfect by any stretch. There's still some residue on the pipe. Try to keep our piles together over here. And they're both pretty much off the pipe now. I'm going to take you off the tripod again and then we'll check out what we got down here. But you can see that's where the hot block was. That's where the wet rag was. Both cleaned up pretty well. You throw an actual wet rag onto the copper pipe and you can clean them both up pretty easily. Here's what's left of both products compared to each other. Again, very, very similar. As far as the cleanup, you can see there was a little bit more to the wet rag than there was the hot block, and the hot block is like it's almost like cast in the form that it was in. See, it's very, very rigid and a lot less brittle, I guess you would say, than the wet rag. As you can see, the wet rag is still, one side of it is still super, super pliable. Still got a lot of moisture left in it, where it appears that the hot block has used up most of its moisture. Again, you just re-wet these products and you can reuse them. But yeah, see if we can sort of mold this back together. And I believe that wet rag recommends that you remove the charcoal bits. Obviously I didn't do that. I just sort of mixed everything back up in there. And you can see it's back fairly pliable. You can see the pieces that were burned up are sort of crumbling off of there. We'll set that there. And our hot block, again, it feels like a lot of the moisture has left it, but we'll see. It molds back pretty good. can see some of it's a little crumbly. Again, you add water back to both of these products to sort of re-energize them. But yeah, not bad. And now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna shut the camera off real quick. I am gonna grab just a little bit of water and dab a little bit of water on both of them and sort of see how well they re-energize back to their original forms. All right, this is gonna be far less than scientific, just kind of more or less messing around here. Add a little bit of water. Add a little bit of water. I think I added a little bit more water here. Let me just add a dab back to here. There we go. And I'll just give it a second. You can actually see it absorbing back into the product. But we'll go ahead and you can see, I think I added a little bit too much water, but that's something you kind of have to play around with these products. But you can see that is back to, other than the charcoal bits that are in it, basically right back to how it was when it came out of the container. So I wonder if you can get these burnt bits. Again, far from scientific, guys. I just want to kind of cover every aspect. You can see that sort of turns right back into the same product, so you can even take up those crumbs if you wanted to and get it right back in there, no problem. And the hot block, basically the same way. Still a little crumbly, but it was like that from the get-go. So I think that's just how the product is made. But no problem at all. Try to get those little crumbly pieces a little damp right there. Whoops, or a lot damp. Yeah, and right back to the way it was before. So I'm pretty impressed with both products. The hot block kept the pipe slightly cooler by, I think it was about 50 degrees at the peak, but the wet rag cooled the copper pipe down faster once the torch was removed. So take that for what it's worth, guys. Would I use one over the other? I don't really think so. I think they're both about the same. You can look back in the video and go over any pros or cons you feel from how the products perform, but I think they're both great products. Yeah, I can't justify using one over the other. One is a little more pliable out of the container than the other, but one holds its form on the copper pipe or the component that you're protecting a little bit better than the other. One stays a little cooler, slightly cooler, and we're talking about a torch that's in excess of 1,000 degrees, and you're talking about a 50-degree difference. That is very, very minute in my opinion. It's not going to make or break any component in my opinion, but it definitely did. The hot block I'm referring to kept the pipe a little cooler, so take it for what it's worth, guys. Cleanup was relatively the same. The hot block cleaned up a little bit better. The wet rag was a little more dry and crumbly, as you can see. But yeah, hope that helped, guys, for anybody that was out there in the market of buying a product. I know there's tons of people pushing products that are saying it's the latest and greatest, best thing since sliced bread. I just want to make the most unbiased reviews that I can, so you can see the products, see them actually perform, and make your own opinions on which is better than the other, or if they're both similar. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all the support. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.